On today's episode, we're going to add a very Canadian ingredient to a very classic American dessert. This nutty pastry showed up as early as the 1800s in American literature, but didn't make its official controversial appearance in The Joy of Cooking until 1940. The reason for the controversy? The option of adding Kentucky bourbon. Today, my friends, is all about classic pecan pie on I Can Teach You How to Make That. Hey folks, good to see you back. Today we get to make a classic dessert perfect to bake during the holiday season. You're never going to walk into a potluck or dinner at your in-laws with a pecan pie under your arm and have people be quietly disappointed. Its popularity is undeniable. Also, pecan pie transports very well, so if it has to be in the car with you for a couple hours while you drive to your families this holiday season, it holds up perfectly. You can't even walk a lemon meringue pie across the street without making it look like it went 5 hard rounds of ground and pound. For those of you visiting, I Can Teach You How to Make That for the first time. Glad to see you made it. For those of you returning, good to see you back. I have to let you know though that I'm pumped that you're posting pictures of your dishes on our page. So cool. Okay, today we get to fly first class and grab some underground parking, so let's hit the grocery store and grab our ingredients for today's pie. We're going to build this pie from the ground up, so we're going to need some flour for our crust. Grab the Robin Hood all-purpose flour just like your grandmother used to use. Nothing complicated here. Your first 4 ingredients are all located in the same aisle and within about a 10-foot radius. This includes our vegetable shortening. Grab 1 stick of Crisco. Right next door to the flour section is the nuts. Grab 1 convenient 2-cup bag of the pecans. If you turn around and look behind you, you should see the sugar section. Grab 1 plain bag of the brown stuff. I'm going to get you to push your cart 1 aisle over into the breakfast section, and we're going to grab some maple syrup. You won't be using all of it, but boy are your waffles going to taste good as well. Next, hike over to the dairy section, grab yourself a stick of butter and a dozen eggs. And you don't need a fancy designer egg here either, just something you'd normally eat for breakfast. I'm going to talk about one little option, and we're just about out of here. Here's a bit of an insider's tip, but you didn't hear it from me. If you don't feel confident in rolling pie dough, or maybe don't even own a rolling pin, pick up a Tenderflake pie shell in the frozen section. It will cut your preparation time in half, but still bring that homemade freshness we're all looking for. If you're worried about how ghetto the tinfoil pan looks if you bring your pie to a party, ask me in the comments section and I'll give you an easy trick to make you look like Martha Stewart's assistant. Alright, we're just about ready to fire it up in the kitchen. Here's your exact list of tools you're going to need to make this pie. You're going to need a stainless steel bowl, a small pot, a wire whip, a Pyrex pie dish, a measuring cup, a rolling pin, and a cooling rack. You'll find these items as well as all the tools we use on our show in our Amazon store. Most worry-free shopping ever. You don't have to worry about getting your stuff because Amazon is solid, and you don't have to worry about getting ripped off in the tool department either. Look, if I just started woodworking a couple of minutes ago, I'd be looking for a veteran carpenter to tell me what kind of drill to buy. I'll be your carpenter, but with pots and bowls. Hit the link below to take you directly to our store full of restaurant industry worthy tools. You can thank me later. Now back to the show. And here's a list of our ingredients to have in front of you before we get started. You'll need all-purpose flour, Crisco vegetable shortening, brown sugar, eggs, butter, maple syrup, and pecans. Start by adding 1 1/3 cups all-purpose flour into your large mixing bowl. I didn't list salt as one of the key ingredients listed, but you're going to want to add a pinch to your flour now. Before we cut up and add our vegetable shortening to our flour, we want to make sure it's very cold and been in the fridge for at least a couple hours. Starting with cold fat is vital to having a tender and flaky pie crust. You'll see other pie dough recipes either call for butter or lard. I prefer to use vegetable shortening as I feel the pie dough holds its shape better and I don't have to pre-brown it either. I can just add my batter right into the pie shell into the oven. Next, we're going to cut our fat into our flour by pressing it in with a fork. You're going to keep a small bowl of ice water in front of you that you're going to sprinkle throughout this procedure. It should work out to be about 4 tablespoons of cold water. Keep mixing the fat, flour, and sprinkling a little bit more water as you go along. The texture you're looking for is like a cooked oatmeal. If you've done it right, it should be able to hold its shape like a small marble or a pea. Next, we're going to flatten the dough into a 1-inch thick disc. We're going to put the dough between 2 pieces of parchment, put it in the fridge for a minimum of an hour. By chilling the dough before rolling it out, we allow the present gluten strands time to settle down and relax. This actually makes your pastry dough easier to roll out and cuts down on any shrinking during the baking process. Chilling also lets the available moisture find its way back into all parts of the dough. While our pie dough is relaxing in the fridge, we can prepare our filling. Start by cracking 4 large eggs. Give them a light beating with a fork and just put them off to the side. We're going to use them again right away. Just a small tip, eggs are always easier to handle when they're room temperature, so just take them out about half an hour before we start baking. Next, we're going to melt our butter, sugar, and maple syrup. In a small pot over medium heat, melt 1 stick butter, 1 cup brown sugar, and 1/3 cup maple syrup. The maple syrup is working as an option replacement for the Southern United States version that includes bourbon whiskey. I like to usually include a few tablespoons of the maple syrup too after my pie is baked as well. Hey, just a heads up, don't turn your stove past anything hotter than medium. We're just melting our ingredients here, so if you take your eye off it for a second, you don't want it to boil. This way, you don't have to worry. Also, by not increasing our temperature too high, we don't have to be as mindful when we incorporate our eggs. Now would be as good a time as any to preheat our oven to 350 degrees on bake. Not broil, not favorites, bake. After our pie dough has been in the fridge for a minimum of an hour, we're going to prepare to roll it out by covering our work surface in tons of flour. Act as if your circular shaped dough disc is a clock. We're going to roll from the center of the clock outwards in succession starting at 12 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then 9. You get the idea. Repeat the process until your dough is equal thickness and large enough to cover your pie pan. Try not to handle the dough too much. That ends up developing the gluten and turning our pie crust into a pie bread. Not what we're looking for. Let's clean up and get rid of anything raw flour related and begin to build our pie. Once you've let your mixture of your butter, your brown sugar, and your syrup cool down a bit, we're going to incorporate it with our eggs. To be sure we don't cook our eggs with our syrup mixture, we're going to temper them a bit by adding a little bit of the syrup to the egg before we add the egg to the warm syrup. Use your wire whip to mix all your ingredients until completely smooth. Add your bag of pecans, or 2 full cups, to your pie shell. Pour your syrup to cover the pecans and fill the pie shell. If some of the nuts remain dry, submerge them just using your wire whip or fork. I'm pretty sure you can figure out what happens next. We're going to transfer this beauty into our 350 degree oven and wait 1 hour. It's been an hour, so let's go ahead and remove our pie from the oven. Make sure there's no jiggling. If there is, turn off the oven, leave it in there for a few more minutes. After it's had a chance to cool, go ahead and cut it up, serve it with some vanilla ice cream or creme fraiche. So there you have it, your classic pecan pie. Here's your 5 key points to nailing this classic nutty pastry. Number 1, start with cold shortening. Beginning with a cold fat is vital in developing a tender and flaky crust. Number 2, patience. Give your pie dough at least 1 hour to rest in the fridge before you even attempt to roll it. Number 3, use pecan halves and not pieces. There's something about using full pecans that brings this elegant tart to the next level. Number 4, cheat. If you don't have time to roll out your own dough, grab a frozen pie shell from Tenderflake. It will only bump your pie's score from a 9.5 to a 9. And number 5, use a quality pie dish. I use the 9-inch Easy Grab from Pyrex. You'll see it listed in our Amazon store with the link provided below. Be sure to have a look around on your way out.
So, how did it go? I'm curious. If you took your pie out too early or you curdled your eggs, restart the video, wash your dishes, fire it up again, not that big a deal. I hope you enjoyed baking this pecan pie as much as I enjoyed explaining it. Until next time, I'm David Husserow on I Can Teach You How to Make That. Bye for now.